Welcome back to Havenwood Studios. I'm Leona Carney, and today we are going to be making Havenwood Studio Cure-All Salve, Super Salve. And basically it consists of olive oil, beeswax, plant matter, and essential oils. That's all that you need. Now this particular one took me a while because I had to collect St. John's wort, and that's about a 10-day curing process. I used 1 quart of good quality olive oil, pour it into the jar. You collect St. John's wort flowers and steep them in the oil, and you want that to be steeping for about 10 days in the sun. Make sure to check it daily to make sure it's not, the odor isn't changing, because if it's changing that means it's fermenting, and that's no good. So 10 days ago I started this, and now I have put that into the crock pot, and this morning I also added jewelweed, yarrow, and sage. Now you might not know this, but St. John's wort has been popular as used for a antidepressant, but there's a topical use for it as well. It is fantastic for swollen veins, varicose veins. It's also good to help with swelling and bruising. And the jewelweed is good for curing poison ivy, poison oak, bruises as well, but also eczema, insect bites, stings. And yarrow is another one of those plants that has 101 uses, but for this I wanted it to be a good circulation enhancer. To help with, with the circulation in the legs and such. So, brought it to a boil. It's been simmering a while, and now what we need to do is we need to strain out the plant matter. Now, the way we're going to do that is we've got a nice big pot here, good strainer. If you don't have one of these, you can use cheesecloth. You place it in there thusly. Also, I want to mention ahead of time, have a friend of yours, like I did last weekend. My friend Bob came over. Have a friend of yours grind up your beeswax ahead of time, because this is very labor intensive and time consuming, but you want it done ahead of time so that you can add it as needed. Okay. Where's my... Right now it doesn't smell like much. I mean, I can smell the sage, but it really smells more like, almost like cooking spinach. You want to make sure to pour it nice and slow so that you don't have any splashing. Rubber spatula, get all that goodness out of there. Make sure you get all the plant matter out as well, because you're going to put the oil back in here in the crock pot to add the rest of your ingredients. You want to try to get all of that good oil out of there so you can preserve as much as possible. Yeah, it's an amazing thing that I discovered about the St. John's wort. It's the bioflavonoids in the plant, which if you've got a good plant, when you start picking the flowers, the yellow flowers off of the St. John's wort, turns your fingers red. And when you start steeping it in the oil, you should see your olive oil start to change color as well. But it's actually the bioflavonoids in the plant that have such great healing properties. Okay, I think we got most of that out. Something. Okay, every last little bit. Set that over here. And I can see that there's still a bit of a little bit of plant matter in here, so I just want to wipe that out. Okay. Oil goes back into the crock pot. Make sure you get as much of it back in as you can. You don't want to waste anything. And at this point, make sure it's on a low heat, not boiling, and make sure you have a spoon in your freezer. I should have mentioned that. The spoon should be in the freezer ahead of time. And you'll see why in a minute. I'm going to add my essential oils now, and I'm using sage and lavender. The sage, not only the plant sage that I put in there, the plant matter, but the essential oils has a very high antibiotic action, so this salve will be good for, for that purpose, for cuts and things like that. Can't seem to get the top off. Okay. I'm probably going to use, well, it's 15 milliliters. I'm probably going to use about half of that. It's not an exact science. Trust your nose, trust your instincts. And of course, my favorite, lavender. Lavender also has antiseptic qualities, the lavender oil, so that is good for this purpose. And again, okay, so this is 10 milliliters. I'd say I'm going to use probably 80% of that. It's a great, great smell. Let's see. No, I think I'm going to add the rest of the lavender. I want it to be a little stronger. Good. Okay, nice, even, low heat. And you slowly add handfuls of the shredded beeswax to your mix and let it melt. I'd say probably 2 handfuls at a time and stir it in. And when it is ready, when it's melted, we will take the next step.